Thank you. A year ago, Dr. Craig Witherspoon was serving as Superintendent of the Edgecombe County Schools in Tarboro, North Carolina. Educated at Virginia Commonwealth University, Old Dominion University, and George Washington University, Dr. Witherspoon began his career as a music teacher in Virginia Beach, Virginia, before moving on to administrative positions in schools in North Carolina. When he accepted the job as Superintendent of the Birmingham City Schools, Birmingham must have seemed very far away. Our city was facing major financial obstacles. Our schools were losing hundreds of students a year, and at that time our mayor was recently convicted of federal crimes. I imagine that Dr. Witherspoon's decision to uproot his family and move to Birmingham was not an easy one. A year later, Dr. Witherspoon has breathed new life into this office of Superintendent of Birmingham City Schools, initiating programs to restore the district's finances, improving communications, and enhancing the office's relationship with the school board. While Dr. Witherspoon has accomplished a lot in the last year, he still continues to face great challenges. His office made headlines this week that the district will face a $30 million budget deficit in the next fiscal year due to the loss of stimulus funds and declining enrollment. We are certainly grateful to have Dr. Witherspoon in Birmingham, and particularly thankful to have him here today, offering to spend time to talk with us about those challenges that his office faces. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Craig Witherspoon.
Good afternoon. You're right. People tell me, and I say often, "Oh, you got your hands full." Well, you knew what you were getting into when you took this position. And I tell someone, and Brian and I have this conversation sometimes. I said, "Well, no, they didn't tell me everything." But probably would have made the same decision. But it's a great place, and it's amazing that it has been a year so far. My wife and I talked about it over the holidays, that you start the interview process, application process. That whole thing, I started thinking about Birmingham a little better than a year ago. And it's been a great experience, and wonderful people, wonderful area, a lot more gray hair than I did. I saw some friends of mine in Virginia a couple of months ago, and of course hadn't seen them for a while. And I said, "You've changed." I said, "Yeah." But it's all good, as they say. Great place, a lot of issues or what have you, but I see those as challenges and as opportunities. And I'm not going to sit here and just dwell on all those challenges. I will get to them, but I want us to focus more on those successes, on the plans that we have, what we've accomplished, and you're exactly right. We've come a long way in a short amount of time, and I'm excited about where we'll be a year from now, and even more excited about where we'll be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, in terms of a community, a city, a region, and certainly as a school system. So even in the midst of challenges, there are tremendous opportunities for us, and we're going to take advantage of those. What have we done for a year? We've got a committee that's working on themed career academies in our high schools, around finance, around law, around health services, a lot of different things that we're doing to bring us out of silos, both from a financial standpoint, but also from a curriculum standpoint, so that we're maximizing our teacher resources, we're maximizing our finances, and we're strengthening our curriculum. We put a committee together that's going to bring some recommendations to me about some innovative elementary and middle school concepts in Birmingham, some things that we see that are exciting going on across the country. We're going to bring here. We're looking at a foreign language immersion school. We're looking at Montessori. We're looking at partnering with McWane. Some years so you may even see a middle school on the top floors of McWane. So we're looking at well beyond these issues and finances to see what we can do and how we can be a school system, not only here in the South, but across the district, that is innovative, that are doing some great and wonderful things for students. We've moved a process along called, in education we have a lot of acronyms and a lot of things that we do, and they change from year to year, but professional learning communities where our teachers collaborate, they talk about data. We just don't look at student data at the end of the year. We look at it ongoing and asking the question, did students learn what we taught over this period of time, this week or this 2 weeks or this unit? And we don't talk about issues that students bring to the table. We talk about, as education professionals, what do we need to do to make sure they learned the objective that has been taught, and how do we marshal those resources to make sure they got it. And then we use data, we use collaboration, we talk about how do we move students forward. So we know way before the end of the year when we assess students how they're doing and how do we bring all the resources together to help. And I had a gentleman send me an email over the holiday to say, hey, they're asking in Huntsville and Mobile, what's going on in Birmingham? We're hearing some things that are happening in this school system that perhaps bringing to scale hasn't been done before. So that's good information, good knowledge, what we want to hear. But it's part of taking those successes and small pockets of excellence that do occur in this school system on a daily basis and bringing those things to scale, both from operational standpoint and from an instructional standpoint. So making sure that the resources that we have, we're maximizing. We're working on energy management. We're working on a consolidation plan that's a part of over a $400 million capital plan that we're well into. Renovating schools. Over the holiday, we've started a $22 million, actually prior to the start of the holidays, we've started a $22 million refresh or upgrade of all of our technology. Started with copiers and printers. We're doing desktops. Next month, we'll be bringing to the board a request to start replacing AV equipment. Smart boards in every one of our classrooms, data projectors, all of those things in every one of our classrooms, again, so that we're building capacity, we're making sure that our teachers have the newest and latest tools. Avondale, for example, will be doing some training with iPads. They bought 90 for that school. We're looking at, with this technology money that we have, what can we incorporate and infuse into the teaching and learning process that will catapult our students ahead and move them forward, and the training that goes along with that. So even in the midst of all the economic issues that we have, and I share with the board on a regular basis and I share with our staff, I'm not going to dwell on that because the economy is the economy. We're going to deal with it. Just like in your businesses and at home, your revenues, your expenditures can't go beyond your revenues. We can't do the same thing. So we will make those adjustments. But as we come out on the other side, we're going to be a better school system. We're going to make sure that all of our students, regardless of where in the city they live, have access to high-quality teachers with high-quality tools, with material supplies that they need to have to be successful, and high level of instruction that's going on in our classrooms on a daily basis. So building capacity, making sure that things are happening and things are moving forward. Want to get to a point, and don't want to harp on this a lot, but you read a lot in D.C. schools, what have you. D.C. was losing student population very similarly if you roll the clock back about 3 or 4 years ago. They actually started to increase student population. And I'm anticipating the same thing here in Birmingham with Birmingham City Schools. What we're looking at in terms of schools, what we're looking at in terms of programming, taking advantage of the resources that we have in this community, we will and can and should be doing a lot more. And we're bringing that forward. And in very short order, to be able to say, folks, okay, the charter, no charter, what have you, and I know that conversation is coming, and so forth with the legislature, but my thing is, what do you want? You want a new principal? I can give you a new principal in a school. You want a new staff? I can give you a new staff. You want a theme? You want a particular focus in a school? We can do that. We can offer anything that anybody else can offer if we prioritize, spend the resources in the right way, make sure that we build capacity in our district. So that's the direction that we're headed, and we're really excited about it. And I'm excited that you're doing the libraries and our second grade classrooms. How many of you had an opportunity to take part in the open house that we had back November 17? Well, we're going to come back next year. Whomever the president is, I want to ask the same question, because we're going to do that annually. We're going to have an open house. I want you to come. I want you to visit. And actually, you don't have to wait until next year. Call up any school, go visit. Go in a classroom, and don't just go into the top 3 or 4 or what have you, any one of them. Go in classrooms and see what's happening. I know what you read, I know what you hear, and all of those things, but you as a community and as young leaders need to be able to go and say, well, I've been in that school. That's not what I saw. Or I've been in that classroom. Or I've talked to that principal, or I've talked to that teacher. And something different occurs. We got so many emails and cards and phone calls from that open house, and we wanted it, we tried to target a lot of different stakeholders, but we just didn't want our parents and those folks that are in every day. I really wanted to gear that toward folks that have not been in a school, so that when you hear and read and see, well, I heard this, and I have those conversations all the time. I said, well, I would ask somebody, well, when's the last time you've been in school? Well, I haven't. Come and see. Come and see. Is all rosy? No. But is it all rosy in any organization that's growing, learning, and trying to get better? No, but we are taking those steps to make things happen. Now, on the budget and economic front and those types of things, yes, that's real. We've been talking with the board and my staff and community for a number of months, and we do have a funding cliff nationally. So what's going on in terms of Birmingham City Schools and what you've heard lately is what I term kind of old news. We've been talking about this. Our finance officer did a presentation at the December board meeting, and it's a presentation, quite frankly, that the Superintendent's Association provided to every school system in the state, with some general data about what's happening from a national perspective, what's happening from a local, from a state perspective, and what's happening in a local perspective across the state. And there was general information, and then there were some numbers that were plugged in for Birmingham. And of course, we know our numbers. I meet with my finance officer almost daily, going through things and planning. So we gave the presentation, and then it was, we knew this. But let me, for you as a community, several things I want you to know. One, every school system in this state is facing, in the country for that matter, is facing some of the same things. Federal government 2 years ago dumped billions of dollars to states across the country. And that's what's kind of bridged the gap, if you will, with what's been going on with state economies. That's bridged the gap across the country, and the 2 years are coming up. So those dollars will go. But they'll go from Birmingham, they'll go from, I'm not going to call any other names, but they're going to go